The next global conflict won't be about oil. It will be about something you drink every day: water. And in some places, that war has already started. We live on a water planet that is dying of thirst. From space, Earth looks endless. Oceans stretch for millions of miles, rivers carve through continents. But here's the contradiction. Less than 1% of all water on this planet is usable for humans. Not salty, not frozen, not polluted. Just 1%. And that tiny fraction is under pressure like never before. Cities are exploding in size. Agriculture is expanding. Climate patterns are shifting. Water is everywhere, yet harder to access. So how can something so common become a weapon? Because this isn't really about water. It's about control. Who controls water controls food. Who controls food controls people. And who controls people controls power. In some cities, the water mafia charges 10 times the official rate. For a billionaire, it's a rounding error. For a laborer, it's the choice between a glass of water and a meal. So the real question is, are we running out of water, or are we entering a world where water is controlled? Because those are two very different problems. One is natural, the other is political. And once control enters the equation, water stops being a resource. It becomes leverage. To understand how we got here, we go back. Thousands of years ago, power began with rivers: the Nile, the Indus, the Tigris, and Euphrates. These rivers didn't just support life, they created civilization. Floods brought fertile soil, water enabled farming, farming built cities. But there was a hidden rule. Whoever controlled the water controlled the people. Control irrigation, control food. Control food, control survival. Water wasn't just nature, it was authority. And that logic never disappeared. It evolved. Today, control doesn't look like a king standing by a river. It looks like infrastructure. Dams, reservoirs, pipelines, modern choke points. Because rivers don't stop at borders, but control over them does. Upstream countries hold power. They can store water, redirect it, restrict it. Downstream countries take what they're given. This is where it gets dangerous. Look at the Nile. Ethiopia is building one of the largest dams in Africa, upstream. Egypt depends on the Nile for over 90% of its fresh water. To Ethiopia, the dam is a light switch for a dark nation. To Egypt, it's a plug in their only lifeline. Same river, different realities, and neither side can afford to lose. But here's the twist. Water isn't just flowing in rivers, it's hidden inside everything you consume. This is called virtual water. That morning coffee in your hand? It took 140 liters of water to grow, process, and ship those beans. You aren't just drinking a cup, you're drinking a bathtub's worth of a dying resource. And it doesn't stop there. Rice, meat, cotton, electronics. Countries don't just trade products, they trade water, invisible water. So a country can appear water-rich while quietly depending on water from somewhere else. And that creates a fragile system. Now scale this up. Agriculture alone uses about 70% of the world's fresh water. Demand is rising fast. More people, more consumption, more pressure. But supply? It's becoming unpredictable. India and Pakistan rely on the same Indus River, both armed, both dependent. China controls rivers flowing into Southeast Asia, giving it upstream leverage over entire regions. In the United States, the Colorado River is drying out. Cities depend on it, farmers depend on it. But there isn't enough water for everyone anymore. And when supply can't meet demand, someone loses. But here's what most people don't realize. Water rarely starts conflicts, it amplifies them. Before Syria collapsed into war, it faced one of the worst droughts in its history. Crops failed, farmers lost everything, millions moved into cities. Pressure built. And then, the system cracked. The drought didn't cause the war, it made instability inevitable. And this pattern is repeating. Climate change is disrupting rainfall, glaciers are melting faster, droughts last longer. Water is becoming unreliable. But here's where the story shifts. Because this isn't just a race towards collapse, it's also a race for solutions. Countries like Israel recycle nearly 90% of their wastewater, turning sewage into usable water. Desalination plants are turning seawater into drinking water on a massive scale. Technology is trying to outpace scarcity. But here's the tension. Innovation buys time. It doesn't remove the struggle. Because access to these solutions is also unequal. And we're back to the same system. Resource, demand, control, power, conflict. This isn't just a water crisis, it's a control crisis. The world isn't simply running out of water, it's reorganizing who gets access to it. Quietly, gradually, unevenly. The next conflict won't start with a headline. No clear beginning, no single spark, just pressure. Rising demand, shrinking supply, tighter control, until something breaks. And by the time we notice, it may already be too late. So the next time you turn on your tap, remember, you aren't just using a utility. You are participating in the most high-stakes game of survival in human history. Because if water becomes unstable, the next system to break is food. And when food breaks, everything follows. To understand the hidden systems shaping our world, stay part of the flow. Subscribe to Factor Flow.